Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to fight!
All right, so I'm going back to ring announcing. And I am so excited to be going back to ring announcing. I've been having the itch. I've really been having the itch to get back into a locker room, to get in the middle of a ring, to be in front of a crowd, to see if I can still do that cool stuff with my voice. I've really been itching. But of course, and at the risk of making it sound like I'm a big thing, it was going to take something special for me to go back to ring announcing. As itchy as I've been getting, a lot of you know the stuff that's gone on with my wife and my son, and so it's just I really have to pick and choose, when I can leave the house and do things like this. Unfortunately, it's caused me to kind of lose contact with New School out of Hamilton, and to kind of get out of contact with Magnificent Championship Wrestling in Brantford. Don't get me wrong, both companies have been awesome. Like, the invitation is open for me to return there at any point, but they got to move on. They can't just wait for their commentator, ring announcer, whatever position I might hold. So, but I know for a fact that both those companies have an open invitation to me. But the company that I am going back to is another company that is special to me. And again, it had to be something special that I would take the time to get out of the house. And it's for Neo Pro Wrestling. Neo Pro Wrestling is a company that they're out of Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. And the very first wrestling show that I ever brought my wife to, then girlfriend, was a Neo show. It was in Welland, Ontario, and my wife had never been to a wrestling show. She knew of wrestling, but she had never had any desire to ever go to a wrestling show. And I talked her into going to a show with me. She had been to a show where I was on the show, but she had never been to a show with me. So I talked her into it. And I've told this story before, kind of like it's special in that regard, but it also special. At one point, my wife and girlfriend had to go to the bathroom, so she goes downstairs to the bathroom, and she comes back, and she says, "There's a naked girl in the bathroom," and I'm like, "Really?" Because now she has my attention. And she said, yeah, she's down there, and she was asking what I thought of these outfits and what she should wear and what went with what and things like that. And I'm like, oh, well, that's kind of cool. And as the show went on, my wife is sitting on my left, and there's someone on my right, and the person on my right said something. They said something about the show, and I turned and I answered them. And as soon as I turned, my wife said, that's her, and started pointing at the ring. And I'm like, that's who? That's the naked girl from the bathroom. And that naked girl was Cherry Bomb, who probably you guys know better as the Bunny in AEW. And she was going by Cherry Bomb at that point. And I kind of knew Cherry Bomb in very passing. I think she was on 2 shows that I was involved with. So even though we didn't directly interact other than like, hi, how you doing, it was we didn't really interact, but we did know each other. And I reached out to her and I said, hey, my girlfriend was down in the basement, and she was like, I found this naked girl in the bath. And I don't think Cherry Bomb really found it that amusing coming from me, but I completely understand. I really do. But it's a funny story nonetheless. Neo's also special to me for another reason. As a lot of you know, I do the yearly, or I've been trying to do the annual Wrestling with ALS show. And years ago, I was recording promos for it in my basement, and they looked like garbage, to be completely honest. and the management of Neo reached out to me, and they had, I guess, what was a school or a training center of sorts, and they said, why don't you come in and you can record them in the ring or in front of the ring, and it'll look super professional. And I did. I went in, and they looked great, and I cut these promos, and they were 100% awesome to allow me to, because I didn't have anything directly involved with them at that point. So just them reaching out and said, hey, if you want another place to do it, by all means, come on in and do it. And they were awesome to let me do that. Another reason that they're special to me. To kind of extend on that story, I don't know how long it was after they had done me this great favor of allowing me to record in this training center. They were holding an event, and they were going to try the round system, where I think it was 3 rounds, 5 minutes each round. And they reached out and they asked me if I would do the timekeeping, and genuine timekeeping. Now, the problem I think with that, or I know, was I worked for another company in Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. And that company, Busted Knuckle, had asked me not to work for another company in Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada, which was totally fine to me because I get that. I understand that. Even though I'm just a ring, and I don't mean just a ring announcer, because I'm a damn good ring announcer. I understood that, I am a unique figure or character or whatever label you want to put on it. And I myself believed I should not work for another company within a geographical area. Just like a lot of people, like in the territory days, where you don't, wrestlers don't move around, and they only work for one company and things of that nature. So Busted Knuckle had asked me never to work for another company in Niagara Falls. And so, but the Neo had done this great favor for me, allowing me to record. So we had decided that I was going to do the timekeeping. And I said, great, I'll do the timekeeping, but just do me a favor, don't acknowledge me. Don't say my name, don't anything like that, because I do work for Busted Knuckle, and I want to honor their request. So they said, that's fine, that's great, no problem. We go. The show comes along, and I'm dressed, professionally, because even though I'm not just, but I'm doing the timekeeping, and no one theoretically is supposed to be paying attention to me. I still want to look professional. So they acknowledged me. They at the beginning of the show, they said, "And your timekeeper, Matthew Terry," and I was just like, crud. So I gave a little wave, and everybody gave a little applause, and I did end up getting in a little bit of trouble, right? I guess not even really trouble, but the Busted Knuckle did get a hold of me and say, like, I thought you weren't supposed to, and I said, they did me this favor, and I did, I was doing a favor back, and I asked them not to acknowledge me, and they acknowledged me. But I got a nice little applause. Also, that show, somebody, I wish I could remember what his name is, but he was from Pro Wrestling Illustrated, and he got into the ring, and someone kept saying, "You're not Terry" or something, which is me. And they said, "You're not Terry," or "We want Terry," or something like that. I can't remember exactly what they were chanting. And whoever this person is from Pro Wrestling Illustrated, and I feel bad that I can't remember what their name is. It's just, I can see him, but I can't put his name on him. This is frustrating. He said, "I don't know who that is." And I wanted to stand up and go, "That's me." But again, I wanted to keep my profile kind of low. But with all that being said, Neo is very special to me. Neo has a very special place in my heart. It is my pleasure to be going to ring announce for them. This is the first time I'm going to ring announce for them, and I cannot wait. I got all the information in front of here. If you consider this a commercial, great. If you don't consider this commercial, that's great too. But you got to have this information. So it's Saturday, May 20th, 2023, obviously. Neo Rising 3 Homecoming, presented by Rest When Dead Clothing. It is at the Columbus Club, Niagara Falls, 6900, so that's 6900, 6900 Stanley Avenue, Niagara Falls, Ontario. I'm thinking the bell is going to ring at 7 o'clock because it just says 7 to 10. I'm going to guess the bell is ringing at 7 o'clock, so don't think that the doors are opening at 7 and the show is starting at 8. Just to be safe, let's just say the bell is going to ring at 7 o'clock. Already announced. What am I? Sorry. Former WWE NXT superstar Shawn Spears, he's returning to Niagara Falls, and he's going to be there. Impact Wrestling star Cody Deaner, he's going to be there. Tiberius King, the Italianos, Jeremy Elliott, and tons more. It's going to be a great show. Because I'm the ring announcer, and because I get to be part of different discussions, I'm privy to rumors, I guess, and certain things that might happen at the show, or certain things that they're planning at the show that might or might not happen. If these things happen, it's going to be an awesome show. It's going to be an awesome show regardless. But the things that they have planned, it just need to be made official. Keep your eyes open. I will put the link for the tickets. You can go to Go Neo Pro. So that's GONEOPRO.ca. You can go there. I'll put that link in the description of this podcast. You can check that out. Go there, get your tickets. It's going to be a good show. It's going to be a special show for me. I'm gonna go back to ring announcing. This is flippin' awesome. I cannot wait.